Imagine this. It's a freezing night, 40,000 years ago. Two brothers are screaming at each other outside a cave. One accuses the other of stealing meat from the family stash. Fists are about to fly. And here's the twist. Within an hour, they're sitting by the same fire, sharing that same meat, laughing like nothing happened. No lawyers, no therapists, no group chat apologies. So how did they fix it that fast? Stay till the end, because the last part of this video is going to completely change how you think about ancient humans, and maybe even about your own family. Today we're diving into something nobody really talks about. Not hunting mammoths, not fire, not caves. We're talking about the messiest, most human problem of all, family drama. Because yes, cavemen fought with their mums. Cavewomen argued with their in-laws. Kids ignored their parents. Ancient humans dealt with jealousy, betrayal, sibling rivalry, and breakups, just like we do. The only difference is, they couldn't just block someone and move on. If your family kicked you out 50,000 years ago, you didn't just feel lonely. You died. Let that sink in for a second. Today, if you have a huge fight with your family, you can grab your phone, order food, and sleep it off in your own room. Back then, there was no room. There was no phone. There was just you, the freezing dark, and wild animals waiting for someone dumb enough to wander off alone. So ancient humans had one rule that mattered more than any other. Never let a family fight actually break the family. Because a broken family wasn't just sad. It was a death sentence. So how did they pull this off? Let's go back in time and actually live through it. Picture a small group, maybe 25 people, living together in a shelter. Not a fancy house. Think long huts made of branches and animal hide, sometimes stretching almost 50 feet long, built for one big extended family to sleep shoulder to shoulder. No walls between rooms, no privacy, no slamming a bedroom door because there was no bedroom door. Every fight, every whisper, every dirty look happened right in front of everyone. Now imagine growing up like that. You can't hide your anger. You can't sulk in silence for 3 days while everyone tiptoes around you. The whole group sees it, hears it, and feels it. So ancient humans developed something we've almost completely lost today. They got shockingly good at conflict resolution, and fast, because they had no other choice. Here's the first wild secret. Ancient families didn't really see themselves as separate individuals fighting for their own interests. Scientists who study early human behavior believe that in these small family groups, most people were closely related by blood. Brothers, cousins, parents, grandparents, all packed together. And when you're that closely related, biology actually plays a sneaky trick on your brain. Helping your cousin survive is almost like helping yourself survive, because you share so much of the same blood and the same genetic future. So even in the middle of a screaming match, some deep instinct was whispering, "Don't destroy this person, they're part of you." That's layer 1. But it gets crazier. Layer 2 is something we'd call social pressure today, but for ancient humans, it was basically law enforcement. There were no police, no courts, no jail cells. So who kept people in line? Everyone. Literally everyone in the group. If a father was too harsh on his son, the whole camp would notice. If two sisters kept fighting over food, the aunties and uncles would step in before it got out of hand. Gossip wasn't just juicy drama back then, it was survival software. It kept people accountable because your reputation inside the group decided whether people would share meat with you, protect you in a storm, or help you when you got sick. Now here's where it gets almost unbelievable. Imagine you are the one who messed up. Say you snapped at your elderly mother in front of everyone. In today's world, you might just avoid her for a week and hope it blows over. Ancient humans didn't have that luxury. Avoiding someone in a 25-person survival group is basically impossible. You eat together, you sleep in the same shelter, you hunt, and gather side by side every single day. So guess what they had to do? Instead of avoiding the problem, they had to face it. Almost immediately, anthropologists studying small-scale societies that still live similarly to our ancient ancestors have noticed something fascinating. Conflicts often get resolved through direct, sometimes loud, but surprisingly quick confrontation, followed by a reset. People argue hard, sometimes with raised voices and real anger, but then there's an unspoken understanding that once it's said, it's done. No cold shoulders for weeks. No years of unspoken tension. Because holding onto a grudge in a tiny group that depends on each other for survival was basically playing with fire. Literally, since someone still had to keep that fire going every night together. Now let's talk about something even stranger, sharing. You'd think that in a world with so little food, people would hoard everything for themselves and their closest kids. But it was often the opposite. Successful hunters were expected to share their kill with the entire group, including people they were currently annoyed with. Imagine being furious at your brother, and then that same day, he hands you a portion of the animal he just killed, because that was simply what you did. This sharing wasn't just kindness, it was insurance. Today you share your meat with me, tomorrow when I get lucky, and you come back empty-handed, I share mine with you. This created something incredible. A safety net stitched together not by money or contracts, but by trust between family members who had to keep choosing each other again and again, even after a fight. Here's a scenario. Imagine two teenagers in that ancient family, a brother and sister arguing over who gets the warmest spot near the fire. It escalates. Words get harsh. But that night, when the temperature drops and the wind starts howling outside the shelter, they end up curled up back to back for warmth anyway. Because the cold doesn't care who won the argument. Survival forced reconciliation. Nature basically said, figure it out or freeze. Now here comes something that might blow your mind a little. Marriage and pair bonding in these ancient communities weren't really about romance the way we think of it today. They were often deeply tied to survival and cooperation between families. When two people from different family groups paired up, it wasn't just love, it was an alliance. It connected two families together, creating more people you could trust, more hands to help gather food, more eyes to watch for danger. So even romantic conflicts, the kind we'd call a breakup today, had massive ripple effects. The instinct that says, this person is part of you, don't let this break you. Ancient humans didn't have easier lives. They just had fewer ways to run from their problems. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what made them better at solving them. So next time you're in a heated argument with someone in your family, ask yourself one simple question. If there was nowhere to run and no one else to turn to, would you still choose to walk away? Or would you choose, like your ancestors did, around that fire tens of thousands of years ago, to sit back down and stay